often I believe that the audience is that is watching the show, and you don't know where they are. So once you put it on the social media, you don't know where that video will travel to. And even if you have 50 people in the hall or 25 people in the hall, for all you know, the video will reach 5,000 or 50,000, and that is how it goes. And to make that more interesting, with Raghunatha Chary here, and definitely the book that he's written and the trials and tribulations that he's gone through, we will quiz him, and definitely HMA can then take this video and possibly it will get edited by the Monday morning, and then we can have it sent to all our members. And I request everybody then to share those videos, and more such videos will be coming up in the next few weeks. We will do more such brainstorming or chai pe charcha or whatever you want to call it, because fireside chat is a pure American terminology. We don't have a fire here. And anyway, we'll start the session. I would say, Mr. Raghunatha Chary, you did that presentation there with the book. You gifted us a copy of the book also. Now, in terms of chronicling a journey, okay, of what you have gone through in terms of entrepreneurship, the setbacks that you faced, the reinvention, if you can call it, and the growth phase that you had. Quite often you would have got asked this question: what made you write this book?
Yeah, very true. So, when I actually gone out to meet some of the people, my publisher, White Falcon Publisher, has taken to student community actually, and they were asking this question: sir, these days no one is reading books. In fact, they were asking, do you have a PDF of it? Kindle of it. So I told them my publisher was aware of the modern day reading habits. So indeed they launched a Kindle version, and then there is a ebook also made. But to the question why now, Devendra Garu actually gave a partial answer. India ranks second in even these days in terms of how many hours we spend on book reading. While book is a expression of your life, expression of your experience, okay, book also is one another reckoner even these days, okay. It tells you that there is an amount of information, amount of experience, amount to be reckoned at any time, because all said and done, technology at times has its own hiccups. Your electricity can cripple you off. We are seeing Amazon being shut down, and your servers can go down. Many other things can happen. You cannot even probably read if your mobile is not charged well enough. Your iPad might give up all that, but book would always be there. Reading a book makes you connect to the content much closer. It is probably at some point in time we will talk about AI. It is that. So machines will always exist. The human also going to exist and run them. And as long as this is going to be the kind of pattern, books would always be relevant.
Because these days, when I speak at colleges, one of the main grounds I have, which I think HMA also should take up, is that today's generation doesn't read a printed publication. They are the Instagram generation, and quite often they don't like long stuff, long speeches, long videos. They are the 30-seconders. Jaldi bolo, jitna bolna hai, khatam karo, and tell me quick. I don't have time for it. And then we give the option in the corner saying, you want to watch a full reel? Click that and watch the full reel. How is it that holding that attention, that 30-second attention now in a book format is slightly different? But more importantly, you did mention about AI, and we have seen in the last 3 sessions of NASDAQ, almost $720 billion getting wiped out in 3 sessions over Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Possibly that bubble is bursting. One way it is good because it brings down a lot of people down to ground reality. But the point is more about the philosophical part of it. Because when you look at your career and success fundamentally, what has changed philosophically in your opinion when you are going through all this?
I think I have reinvented myself.
Because I'll ask you the defining moment of it.
I know you are going to be very pertinent. Devenderji warned me about. But still he has given me very less time to prepare for anything. So there is no armory around. So I'll be candid. So life looked very well said. Because I hail from a very typical middle class, like most of people could resonate with. A government employee father with 4 sons, father, mother, very typical of that kind of humble beginnings. So from there, jet trotting, traveling Europe as if it is like next Maridpalli and this and all that. For 20 years that was happening. So life was so good, charmful. You are doing many wonderful fantasy things. And then this in Hindi we say Kida, entrepreneurship. I'll do something bigger, better, brighter, all of that. So you took a plunge because you felt I have amassed within my own capacity, my own thoughts at that time. I'm not saying amassed means any other established industrialist like Devendra Garu or any other person. Within our own middle class thought process, having few crores there is a good money. Now you can experiment in life. And life always has surprises for you. So you started your entrepreneurship, and you started entrepreneurship with your corporate mindset. I'll give this guy this salary, I'll spend money like this on this, I'll do anything not less, the visiting card has to be that and everything. So you're pompous, you're visibly doing things so big. 3 years down the line, when things are hitting you hard, when you look at back your balance sheets, P&Ls and all other things, your accountant continuously screaming. In those days you said, guy, be okay, I'm in command, man, I have 23, 24 years experience, successful ones, don't worry. And I have lot of friends who will fund me if I really require. 3-4 years, the guy comes and says, sir, now this is the hour, you need to now see this. Look at it. You are now getting on to just not minus you are going to be. And slowly, when you start understanding the whole picture, then you suddenly realize all those things vaporized into thin air. Now you really either have to earn or take a very hard call. What are you going to do next? And that's a philosophical lesson one for you.
In fact, when you go through the career transitions that you talked of in the book, in terms of managing identities or self-worth, or even for that matter uncertainty, because when you do career transition, nothing is certain. You're not sure, the grass always looks greener on the other side, but when you reach that side, you realize that it is more like a mirage. So how did you look at that part of it? Your book talks about all that. What is it that career transitions are all about?
When certain times you take your career by design, okay, so then only Tirumala Garu kind of experts on the thing will say a career path has to be designed, a career path has to be executed. So in a most idealistic environment, your career path is designed and you go through that. When there are things that are desperacy, you are a desperado, you have to survive, you have to pay your next bill, you have to clear your employee salary. These are your real hardship things that hit you hard, and then you suddenly try to innovate yourself. Then you feel like everything that you earlier felt like, why should I be doing this? Is there anything, my time is not appreciated. Okay, a guest lecture pays you 40,000. That 40,000 was nothing 2015 before, but 2018 after, that 40,000 was very big money. Why? Because you have transitioned yourself to realize that in those days what came into you and what now you need to earn are two different planes altogether. So these transitions hardens you. These transitions suddenly bring about the wisdom that was there, but you are ignoring it. So reality bites. But if you take it in right stride, you actually start rebuilding yourself. Now you start seeing things seriously. Now you start valuing everything which earlier was taken for granted. So, Panchabhutalu we take for granted. But China, billionaires, the top 10 billionaires, if you take, the first three are selling air. First three are selling oxygen in containerized fashion. Okay, the rankings might have changed here and there, but they are still in the top 10 billionaires. They are selling this Panchabhutal in package, fresh air. We know Korea, Japan are workaholic countries, and they are so workaholic that they actually meet their families only during the weekends, certain specific hours. And biggest billionaires in these two economies have created sleeping pods, which is also Indian startup trying to do in airports and in other places. What are they trying to give you? A place to sleep, a place to freshen up yourself. This is a business, this is creating billionaires. Why all of this is? So, to your question, transitions. Sometimes transitions are by design, sometimes transitions are imposed. People who are ready for it, they make their way up. People who are not ready, they get lost into the oblivion.
Employment, at the end of the month, you know that by the first your money is in your bank. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're not sure of the journey. You did talk about paying salaries of the employees and not knowing which bills to pay next. Now, when you look at all that, what is the misunderstanding? I mean, quite often people have gone from employment to entrepreneurship, didn't work out, they again came back to employment. What are the misunderstandings that happen in this entire journey back and forth?
As I mentioned a little earlier, we should not be taking things for granted. That's one. The second thing is planning. The third thing is most important thing. I emphasize this because it's a very difficult lesson to live with. Discipline. Discipline is not about getting up in time, sleeping in time, eating in time. Even on this side of conducting affairs, whether as an employee or whether as an employer, if you are not looking at your resources, if you are not looking at the depletion rate of these resources and not getting a clarity around how do I use them, how do I deploy them, what is the return on investment, these aspects, we literally falter. And there are things that some falters could cost you many things because they could be very costly failure. So my take of this transition is be aware. Being aware is not going to help alone. Be committed, and in between these two, the glue has to be discipline.
Because for an typical Indian middle class family, entrepreneurship is not something that comes naturally. There's some states or some communities which have it in their blood. For example, if you talk about the Gujaratis, they have it in their blood to get into business and do business. There are many other communities in different states. I don't want to get into the detail, but the point is there is always this tension at the end of it all. There's a burnout that happens. There is always failure that is staring at you in your face. You're not sure whether you will see the next day's success or tomorrow it may just falter and fail. You ask Mr. Devendra Reddy or others who run those industries. I mean, they're there today. Tomorrow it might be a 10-time business or it might be minus 10 that comes in there. And then, of course, there is bankruptcy, there's the fear of running out of money, burnout. All these tensions, when you are really an entrepreneur, all this goes through it. And surely, how did you rebuild yourself when you look through all those phases of life?
This is most important, apt question. Thanks for asking. And it's like sometimes you have to learn living through the arc. Sometimes you get help. Some people seek help, so they get help. Some people do not seek help, so they get into a black hole. So when I have faced a situation, trust me, 2014 end, my ITR was totally a kind of a middle class fantasy thing, I'm talking in those days of 2012, 2013, having a very handsome package of 7 digits and many other things. And 2018, I was struggling to convince someone to get me a loan of 25 lakh. The same person was waiting for me for 5 days at my office in iLabs in High-Tech City. In those days, Inabit was getting constructed. So that's how the things change for you. So I took to book reading. I took shelter under Bhagavad Gita because as long as humanity exists, this is one that wisdom that will last. And you will be surprised because I worked in Europe extensively, because most of my CV, if you see, is either with German company or US company. Germans embrace Bhagavad Gita to the core. They might have had it in a translated form, but they live, breathe with this. And they talk better about Vedas than us. So I took shelter under that. And one of my friend who was beaten black and blue in the entrepreneurship and went back to employment, he said, I tried Vipassana, you may try. There is a very traditional method called Vipassana. Many of you people might be knowing. I took Vipassana. I went to a Vipassana session in Nagarjuna Sagar itself. That near the dam, there is this ashram, Goenka ji's ashram, and I took 1 month there. 1 month you are cut off from this existential world. No phone, no conversation with anyone. You are silent, only doing meditation but nothing at all. You are of course given fuel to live. Your body has to live, so there is food given to you by them only. And it completely helped me look at things in a neutral stand. Like sometimes people used to joke about this. WhatsApp used to be, Nityananda's WhatsApps are very famous. Me talking to me, asking me, questioning, answering. So a lot of people used to take a lot of fun about it. Even I also did in those days. But when I were doing the Vipassana, I were told there that bring Raghunatha Chary out of Raghunatha Chary and talk. And then know how honestly can you critique, how honestly can you get a feedback, how honestly can you see yourself in and out. So that really helped me. And of course, our network is something that you always have to be, keeping alive, keeping going back to, because there are a lot of people who have a lot of things to pass on. So I have survived talking to the network, adding new skills, and actually taking literally a solid break. I'm telling you, that break was nothing less than, even when I read the famous Rajnikant, recently there was a WhatsApp picture, he was eating on a roadside in a leaf tain, plantif, he was just eating on the roadside just like a normal guy. And I heard and I followed it to know that every year he goes for 15 to 20 days completely away from everything. No one ever again can actually talk to him. His assistant has a phone, and he is totally strictly told in that 15 days he hardly speaks to 2-3 people 2-3 times. That I am surviving in my life. This detoxification is really useful. I did that and it helped me.
In fact, when you, many people sitting in this room and professionally and personally, they struggle in terms of making a change. What kind of life advice would you give them going by what you went through?
Change naturally, first of all, starts with a resistance, because we create bit of cocoons, comfortable, comfies. Suddenly a change is like a root shock. So we have to, if at all there is a motivation, why at all are we trying to look at that change? If that motivation is the driving force, okay, you have to submit it to it and say every day that it is me who is trying to get into that.
No, specifically because sorry, interrupting your train of thought there. The idea is that many people in the mid-career, when you're young, it's okay to keep changing jobs. But once you're in a mid-career, you have kids, you're paying fees, you're doing all that stuff, you're paying the EMIs. At that point, trying to change becomes an issue. What do you have to say to that, sir?
Here I use always my CFO, who is still there with me. Is a very grey-haired first generational CA. He is into CA-ship for the last 42 years. He used to tell me, see the life from a balance sheet perspective. So if we are looking at change, there are things obviously going to be difficult. There are things that you can manage. There are things that challenges you. So he would say, make a balance sheet, look at those things. If it is going to be too challenging, you moderate it then. So balance sheet, and then taking step 1, step 2 kind of approach. So break it into stages, because there is a famous Chinese proverb, elephant cannot be eaten in one go. So you better break it down to stages and then, moving up.
The point is also simple that, your father, you said, typical government service. My dad in the railways, all his career in one company, or rather one organization. Most of our parents have gone through that. But this generation, when you look them, they keep changing jobs. They keep hopping careers. So in terms of individuals, when you talk to individuals, to design their portfolio, if you can call it that way, to have their careers and skills being outlined or being presented, what would you tell them?
See, as long as there are 3 aspects: passion, freedom, stability. Every human actually lives within these 3.
Because today don't have loyalty.
I
Loyalty is a very extinct product today.
I understand. See, there is nothing wrong in that, because as the industry and as the learnings and exposure are changing, so is humans' lifestyle, so is corporate way of working and all. So Narayan Murthy Garu at one point in time came under heavy criticism for extended hours and no moonlighting. Okay, but if you see his peer company HCL or other company, they said we don't have any problem as long as individual is delivering on his objectives. Why should we be worried beyond 6 p.m. what is he doing or what she is doing? So there is a whole of economy opening to these new trends, and these new trends are not going to change in the near future. They are only going to get more complex and more different variety of new dimensions coming up. So if someone is skilled at certain aspect, or if someone is skilled at multiple aspects, that's how it makes a difference. So Ramesh Garu, we have one of the veteran here. When I read it there, I'm sorry, please don't take me wrong, sir. I had one visiting card in Mumbai recently when I went to address a fintech kind of event, and I was asked to talk on GTM front. One of the person gave me his visiting card. So I were no offenses to him, no nothing at all. I requested him, sir, where is your name in this? It was a literal real case, and I said, apologies for my ignorance. I'm not trying to be a great guy here, but I'm trying to understand your name, sir. Because he has wrote a lot of degrees and lot of designations, and the font was same. So his name also is not
Got mixed up.
So if it is written on top, probably I would have. It was here and then a lot of this thing. So that means what? The person is capable of handling so many, and there is no wrong today. We take it. We accept. Mr. Wariku, who's so sensation on the internet and social media, what is he? He's a podcaster. He's an author. He's doing a lot of trainings, mentorships. What is his age? If Ramesh Garu with whatever grey hair is doing, someone might say, yeah, I can take all this. But Wariku also writes the same thing. What is his age? He's not even 42. 41st birthday he's just celebrated. What does it mean? So people, if they have skill, ability to handle such kind of things, they can. While at 54 age, I am starting a school called GTM School of Entrepreneurship after living through this GTM so-called thing for 33 years. There is a startup within the same building of me of 23-year guy. And I met him and asked him. He's explaining the GTM. Definitely. From the book perspective, he has better explanation than me, in fact. Maybe I'll take 10 minutes to explain what it is, what, how, and all. But he is very sharp. So now I might take him into my fold.
In fact, that question about, in fact, Modi ji spoke about that, be a job creator, not a job seeker. Now, when we come to that also, we talk from a perspective of a job doer and a value creator. Because today you are seeing that more of youngsters, we know that it's a law of the jungle, 98% of the startups will fail. They're supposed to fail. But the ones who succeed, and as Piyush Goyal said famously that, we feed the hungry, the rich and the hungry, we feed them. But that is a question of India as a country in terms of culture, about value creation versus doing a job. How does it work?
See, for a country like India, because this is a whole different package it is. You have people, they need to be employed or they need to be engaged. Unlike those Western countries where this is known to us, US is 5 times in terms of land for us, but 1/5 of our population. Okay, so if you see, because of the manpower shortage, they obviously go towards automation, variety of ways of getting the work done. In India, we need to fine balance these things because you have people. So many people have to be fed. If you completely go towards automation, then there will be humongous economical disorder that creeps in. So things have to be balanced. So while saying that, these jobs and value creation, actually we are already one of the largest startup ecosystem in the world, among the top 5. The only thing that we are struggling with, and this is the one that actually struck with few of my audience when I launched my fractional CXO.biz. With one line, I could attract Amazon's AI Labs head. She's PhD in neural science. She leads AI of Amazon globally. I said, India is idea rich, execution poor.
True, take it. Yes.
Okay. And when I'm asked to substantiate, I said, if we go by the numbers, every year India registers 3 lakh domains. Means 3 new ideas are registered to make it big. And in terms of success rate on certain criteria, I'm not going to get into that deeply, we are rated somewhere at the bottoms. Why? US, China, Israel, Poland, and many other economies, come on the top in terms of success. In terms of ideas and registration, we are the highest. So thanks to some initiatives by the government like Atmanirbhar, Make in India, and moment they opened the defense segment to the private, the rankings of India jumped, from 7% to 13.5%, and it is expected to go beyond 20 now very soon, because the drone and all, thanks to one operation called Operation Sindoor, a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of this. So suddenly there is a economic activity spiral. So this tells us that India has the potential, but potential hasn't been realized. Potential to be realized, there has to be some sort of catalytic moments. One Operation Sindoor or defense segment being opened has opened that. Now Prime Minister is talking about road and infrastructure, where we are seeing a lot of new things coming up, where they are saying, why should we have these tolls and all, we will move towards a real-time charging and all of that. And that makes again another wave of thing happening. There is another segment which can take enormous amount of innovation. Still we are not there where we should be, because if you see per acreage of India, agriculture I'm talking about, We have improved 147% in the last 40 years. Okay, but we still are not 30% in compared to acreage what China has, what Vietnam has, what Philippines has. Why? Because they innovated there. So there is an area where if we have spur of innovation allowed, then these jobs and value add both can go hand in hand.
In fact, that lab to market is what is lacking in India. I think the 1 lakh crore plan that was announced by Prime Minister Modi the other day for R&D, because that's where we are very weak. But I often give this example of these two students in BITS Pilani, which is not far from here, the campus in Shamirpet, who developed a drone that could travel for 300 kilometers. Sitting in the hostel room, they developed it, showcased it to the retired army officials who went to the serving army officials, that too on LinkedIn. And finally, they came and saw the product, tested it, real life conditions. And today that product is being rolled out, subcontracted, and it is with the army right now. Now, in terms of asking students who are in an engineering college, if they can do it, I think rest of India can actually. And the only thing I think we are lacking is substantial investment in research and development. We are not putting in that. I think this 1 lakh crore includes private sector too. So if you take 300 crores and you want to start a project with R&D, you better show some results at the end of it. It can't be going into a bottomless pit. That is the idea behind it. So, yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
I think the business, particularly private sector, it's a sorry state of affair that while we talk about governments not doing something, there is no state support, etc. There is lot that they can also do. Okay, if you go to Israel kind of countries, Poland kind of, because I've been to all this, what I see is industry captains own certain initiatives. They don't wait for state sponsorship and all. If we keep struggling and talking about, say, Bangalore traffic, I were associated with Bangalore for 37 years. Why they keep talking about something not being done from government? Why they cannot do something themselves? Why they cannot form a consortium and then do something about it?
Kiran Mazumdar's Shaw kind of approach. Mohandas Pai.
See, there are hundreds to criticize things, but one to get into action mode and support something. So we need to change that thought process. Then this innovation, what you're saying, because government would have given 1 lakh crore, but India is such a complicated economy. Government cannot really fund everything. They don't have money also. We have to bring in that private participation.
So, now that you lead fractionalcxo.biz and you did speak a bit about that, what is that gap that you're trying to address through this fractional leadership model between founders and growing organizations? So there are two sets of people. There are founders and growing organizations. What is that gap that you're trying to fill?
So we analyzed as a consulting company, and like any other businessman, I also would look for a customer, a business, money, all that, right? So but when we were trying to understand what exactly happening around, we coined a term called entrepreneurial journey life cycle, something similar to your software development life cycle. You have an idea, you have validation, you have development, you have launch, you have growth or scaling, and then mature and then exit. In this whole thing, whole of the ecosystem, that incubators, T-hubs, many other kind of things are all at this ideation, validation, development stage. So enormous amount of pitch decks made, enormous amount of, so a startup starts to think like the biggest goal for him to get is a funding first. I have to get the fund, I have to be in the limelight, and I'll be another Jeroda, taking flight to Honolulu or this and that. It is not that simple, right? So when I build further onto that, execution poor. So when we talk about execution poor, what execution, where exactly? So you have a beautiful technology, idea or concept or a product, but taking this to the market needs bit of strategy, bit of execution. So that is where we thought we will help the startup community, not by theory, not by decks and all, but literally bringing in people to support them. So we have a pool of 30 global CXOs joining hands. They are all working right now in proper CXO roles. Hinduja Group's Chief Operating Officer is associated with me under this. AI Labs head of Amazon is associated with me on this. So why are we bringing all these heads? So we are telling startups, guys, if you are really having that kind of idea that can disrupt the market, add value to the market, we are here to help in your go to market. Make it successful so that you are revenue positive. So our whole idea is making promoters look at becoming revenue project through their product rather than trying to say, okay, can I get some funding and then become something? No.
Or sell out. That's so. In terms of the life cycle, as we come to the close of this conversation, I know we are standing between lunch and
That's the biggest crime.
audience. Yes. In terms of spark, scale, in terms of growth attacks, and then sustainability, using AI models, and how do you actually work with this? Because today it's a very fancy word, AI. Nobody knows what it really does. Okay, a lot of people are putting a lot of money into it. They think it's all about chips. They think it's all about front-facing customer roles that are being automated. Just because Amazon sacked 4% or 3% of its workforce became big news. What is it that spark, scale, and sustainability all about?
See, AI, within my understanding, and I have actually, because I believe in one thing, that if we have to talk on one subject, you must learn about it good. Otherwise you shouldn't be talking about it. So when I were approached by a cybersecurity customer to help them on GTM, I joined a program of Stanford to understand the nitty-gritties of cybersecurity. Then did I actually go and meet the customer, my first customer. Similarly, when this AI disruption is happening, even I have published a white paper for my company, like where do I bring this AI into? So I went to join leadership with AI program of ISB. So I took 6 months course with ISB, became their alumni, hobnob with whatever people who are all doing whatever literally in AI, using it as a customer, developing it as a developer and all that. AI is pervasive. AI is going to be here. It is going to be here just like our coronavirus. It has not died. It is there. It is going to be there. AI has to be harnessed. AI has to be collaborated with. Very short future, Suresh Garu, me and our AI compare will be here. Okay, so human AI collaboration will augur well for humanity. Who will be suffering? People who are not ready to unlearn of those past, unlearn of being tied to some titles, singular mindsets, and no transition mindset and all. AI is potentially going to support humankind gallop in terms of knowledge, in terms of execution, in terms of even wealth creation. And every time whenever a technology disruption comes, there are a lot of naysayers. $750 billion going away, $600 going away. Everything is natural. This is bound to happen.
Law of the jungle.
Yes. So AI is basically a good opportunity if we embrace it well. If we take it in a competing, in a combative mode, then we obviously will end on a negative side. So it is going to stay with another tsunami coming in, which people are not talking much. But as usual, normally our Naidu Garu takes a leap. He has put a quantum valley. So quantum computing, which is in the kind of coming up now, that will complement AI. So AI is the logic. So you have a triad always. The fundamental is your hardware network layer. This is the platform layer. This is your software SaaS layer. This model will continuously be there. So your quantum computing, your AI harnessed on that, whatever kind of app systems come on, these three things going to change the way we live, change the way we walk, change the way we breathe.
In fact, everybody, when you think of AI, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is it's Chat GPT, but there's a world beyond it. Another day, a few months ago, I went to IIT Hyderabad to attend a short course, and I was the oldest guy in the room actually, because they were all youngsters sitting there. And one thing I learned when I came out from there, that there's far something beyond Chat GPT and cloud and other things that are there, as much as CLAUDE. So in terms of the last question which I wanted to ask you, what you took it away from me was learning and relearning. You did speak about it. But as we go to the last question for this particular fireside chat, I can call it, the question would be, there's one line from your book that you want this audience to take away, including the audience in the room and those who will watch it on social media, on the video. What line would that be from your book?
Saw my whole of this journey and writing the book, everything told me one specific thing: persistence. Persistence is something that will make you get over any sort of shortcoming. Pivoting is going to exist as a way of life. You will transition knowingly, unknowingly, and that is going to be the order of life. And with AI avalanche, it is going to be more aggressive. It's not going to change at all. So what is that something that you can control is your persistence. How am I going to be relevant? Persistence about that. How am I going to learn? To learn, famous Dalai Lama quote, I cannot fill. When Richard Gere spoke to him, coincidentally they were served with a tea. Tibetan courtesies are serving a tea. A tea until you say no is served, and your cup has to be always full. So the guy was filling the cup frequently. So Gere was asking, Richard Gere was very famous actor in the Esther years. Many now people may not know. Devendra Garu's romantic angle tells him that pretty woman. So I'm concluding.
Yeah, no problem.
So Dalai Lama showed him the cup, saying, to answer your question, you need to empty the cup first. And that became a very famous quote. If you already feel you learned everything, if you already feel you know many things, then there is nothing that can be taught. So my book talks about that you have to persistently keep yourself updated, learn things, be relevant. If you are relevant in every time, in any time, time may change, but you feel that you are always there existing.
Charles Darwin's and the theory of evolution, adaptability, and of course the disappearance of the dinosaurs is a classic case in point. And Mr. Raghunatha, Chary, wonderful speaking to you. I'm sure that we could have gone on for another half an hour, but there is a paucity of time, and of course there's a lunch standing between, as I mentioned before. Thank you very much for speaking to us at HMA. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Thanks Suresh Garu for asking most relevant questions. I hope I made sense to you all people. A lot of learned people. I'm a student forever, as I said. If there are something that you observed that I have not covered well or could have done well, or there is something that you want to add a more color to that, I will be open